Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all the honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of the Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Bayath Dabadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. Okay, this is going to be a part 2 to be mindful of your health in these times. And so I'm just going to go into a little bit more. I'm just going to go a little bit more in depth with what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat. And so, Lord willing, that'll be edifying unto the body, to those that are new coming in, listening, and learning with all sincerity. So we're going to start off with Leviticus, the 11th chapter, as you can see right here. We're going to go into, we're going to go through the list here of all the unclean, as you can see, it says unclean foods under the Old Testament law, but we all know that even to this very day, it's still this is a page right here where it shows a list of unclean foods in the Bible as well. And there's a list of clean foods that you can eat, but we'll get into those in a second here. I'm just going to get the script here, so just bear with me for a second. Let's see. Here we go. All right, so let me see where I'm at here. Okay, so here we go. We're going to get started off with Leviticus 11:1. And it says, And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, verse 2, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. Okay, in verse and it says here, verse 3, Whatsoever parteth the hoof, and is cloven-footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts that ye shall eat. So let's look at a list of those beasts that parteth the hoof. Let's see here. The clean foods. Here we go. Salakia. So the animals that have that are part of the hoof and is cloven-footed and cheweth the cud among the beasts. And if you don't know what the cud is, it's for animals that are that regurgitate the food and then consume it again. They usually have 4, occasionally 3 compartments of their stomach. And these animals would be included right here, starting with antelope, bison or buffalo, the cattle, beef, veal, caribou. Let's see, going down, it would be elk, deer, venison, elk, gazelle, giraffe, goat, hart, ibex, the moose, the ox, the reindeer, sheep, lamb, the mutton, and the wild goat. Okay. Now, verse 4, it says, Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat, of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the hoof, as the camel, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof. He is unclean unto you. So, going over here, unclean. Now, let's see. Unclean. Where are you at? Actually, you know what? Here, I'll go to this one. Yes, you got the camel. And you got the coney, which is going to be in the next script. Let me see something here, if I can find it, because this is a list of unclean. Camel. There we go, the camel. And there's also, of course, the pig, pork. Oh yeah, here we go. The ass, donkey, horse, mule, onager, and the zebra. Okay, those are unclean. In verse 5, and the coney, because he cheweth the cud, but divided not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. And let's see, verse 6, and the hare, or otherwise known as the rabbit, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. And the swine, the pork, the pig, though he divideth the hoof, and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. Verse 8, of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch, they are unclean to you. Okay. So now that you know that part, now we're going to go to, let's see here. This is the unclean list. So we're going to go to those that are, this is going to be, okay, it says here in verse 8, verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. Okay? And as for those that have fins and scales in the list of the clean foods, we got, let's see here. This is under the category of fish, and there's a whole list right up in here. You got albacore, alewives, anchovy, barracuda, bass, black drum, black pomfret, bluebacks, bluebill sunfish, bluefish, bluegill, blue runner, and so on and so forth. These all have fins and scales. All of these. And going from back up over here. And also turbot, not the European one, but tuna, trout, tarpon, striped bass. And me personally, for me, I'm really big on seafood. I like eating fish. So this right here would be my delicacy. Okay, so in verse 10 it says, and all that have not fins nor scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you. So those that have not fins nor scales in the seas, so we're going to go over here, go into the fish category, and it says, right, excuse me, fish category, the bullhead, the catfish, the eel, the European turbot, the marlin, the paddlefish, shark, stickleback, sturgeon, swordfish. Sea mammals goes to dolphin, otter, porpoise, seal, walrus, whale. And of course, this going down into shellfish, which are those bottom feeders. You got abalone, clam, conch, crab, crayfish, lobster, mussel, oyster, prawn, scallop, and shrimp. And the soft bodies, the cuttlefish, jellyfish, the limpet, the octopus, the squid, or calamari. All right, so verse 11: They shall be even an abomination unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, but you shall have their carcass in abomination. Okay. All right. Next is going to be, let's see, verse 12: Whatsoever hath no fins nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination unto you. Verse 13: And these are they which ye shall have an abomination among the fowls. They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination unto you. They are an abomination. The eagle, and the ossifrage, and the osprey. Verse 14: And the vulture, and the kite, and after his kind. Every raven of his kind after his kind, and the owl, and the nighthawk, and the cuckoo, and the hawk after his kind, and the little owl, and the cormorant, and the great owl, and the swan, and the pelican, and the gear eagle, and the stork, the heron after her kind, and the lapwing, and the bat. Okay, so all that's unclean. Going to the birds, yeah, the albatross, the bat, the bittern, the buzzard, condor, the coot, the cormorant, the crane, the crow, the cuckoo, the eagle, falcon, flamingo, the grebe ostrich, and all the rest of them down here. These are all unclean. Alright? Now, the birds that are clean, excuse me, the birds that are clean to eat, of course, the top one being chicken, dove, duck, goose, grouse, guinea fowl, the partridge, peacock, peafowl, the pheasant, the pigeon, the prairie chicken, ptarmigan, quail, saga hen, songbird, sparrow, swan, teal, and turkey. Okay, those are all clean birds that you can eat. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I left off on, okay. Yeah, this is going to be Leviticus 11 and 20. All the fowls that creep, going up on all four, shall be an abomination unto you. Yet these may ye eat of every flying creeping thing that goeth upon all four, which have legs above their feet, to leap withal upon the earth. Verse 22, even those of them that ye may eat the locust after his kind, and the bald locust after his kind, and the beetle after his kind, and the grasshopper after his kind. But all other flying creeping things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination unto you. Okay? So let's go into, let's see, bugs or insects. Okay, we're in the clean foods, so let's look at insects. Insects, crickets, grasshoppers, and locusts. They don't have beetles in here, but yes, beetles, that you can eat beetles. You can eat ladybugs. Ladybugs are said to be high in protein and give you good energy. So, in a time of Jacob's trouble, what's that guy's name? The head of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, said that we're going to be eating bugs. So, well, unclean bugs more than likely, but in that time, man, this may be all that you have to eat right here, because a lot of this other stuff that's on this list is more than likely not going to be available. So better get used to eating this, or if you get, Lord willing, of the elect, my servant shall eat. So we may get more than just a handful of critters. All right. Let's see. Let's see. I left off on verse 24. And for these shall be unclean, whomsoever toucheth the carcass of them shall be unclean until the evening. Okay. So let's see here. Verse 25. And whosoever beareth aught of the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening. Okay, so after touching the carcass, you should wash your clothes yourself and be unclean until the evening time. So, dealing with a corpse. Verse 26: the carcass is of every beast which divideth the hoof, and is not cloven-footed, nor cheweth the cud, are unclean unto you. Everyone that toucheth them shall be unclean. Okay. In verse 27, whatsoever goeth upon his paws among all manner of beasts that go on all four, those are unclean unto you. And whoso toucheth their carcass shall be unclean till the evening. And for animals that walk on all fours with their paws, unclean. Okay, let's see. Well, canines, felines, and these other animals up on this list are all unclean. Go down the list here so you can take a good look. And canines, of course, the coyote, the dog, the fox, the hyena, the jackal, the wolf. Feline, the cat, cheetah, leopard, lion, panther, tiger, etc., etc. So, Those are the things you don't eat. Okay. Verse 28, and he that beareth the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the even. They are unclean unto you. These also shall be unclean unto you among the creeping things that creep upon the earth, the weasel, and the mouse, and the tortoise after his kind, and the ferret, and the camel, and the chameleon, and the lizard, and the snail, and the mole. These are unclean to you among all that creep. Whosoever doth touch them when they be dead shall be unclean to the eating. Verse 32, and upon whatsoever any of them, when they are dead, doeth fall, it shall be unclean, whether it be any vessel of wood, or raiment, or skin, or sack, whatsoever vessel it be, wherein any work is done, it must be put into water, and it shall be unclean until the evening, so it shall be cleansed. Okay? So, like I said, the mouse, like I said, any other animals like the slug, the snail, worm, frog, newt, salamander, toad. So, those are just these are just other animals that are unclean, but you get the gist of it. But so yes, so you know what is clean and unclean. This is just this also goes towards your health. There's certain things that people think that the laws are done away with, and that gives them the excuse to just eat whatever the hell they want, not realizing that a lot of this stuff is what causes problems like cancer, diabetes, and all sorts of other things. And some of these unclean animals can cause, believe it or not, Alzheimer's. That's why you gotta really do your diligent search and look up the ingredients of what you're putting in your body, because we can't really be overly righteous because we live in a tainted kingdom. So you still just show the diligence in in what you eat. Okay, and I'm gonna keep reading down, and it says, let's see, I had left at okay, that's where I left off. I'm gonna drop down to let's see. Okay, this is gonna be verse I'm gonna go down to verse 44. And it says, for I am the Lord your power. Ye shall therefore sanctify yourselves, and ye shall be holy, for I am holy. Neither shall ye defile yourselves with any manner of creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Okay, verse 45. For I am the Lord that bringeth you up out of the land of Egypt to be your power. Ye shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. Verse 46. This is the law of the beasts, and of the fowl, and of every living creature that moveth in the waters, and of every creature that creepeth upon the earth. In verse 47, to make a difference between the unclean and the clean, and between the beast that may be eaten and the beast that may not be eaten. Okay. So, and another thing too, I'm gonna go back here to verse 33, and it says, and every earthen vessel where into any of them falleth whatsoever is in it shall be unclean, and ye shall break it. Verse 34, of all meat that which may be eaten, that on which such water cometh shall be unclean, and all drink that may be drunken, every such vessel shall be unclean. Verse 35, and everything whereupon any part of their carcass falleth shall be unclean, whether it be oven or ranges for pots, they shall be broken down, for they are unclean. and shall be unclean unto you. Verse 36, nevertheless a fountain or pit wherein there is plenty of water shall be clean, but that which toucheth their carcass shall be unclean. 37, and if any part of their carcass fall upon any sowing seed which is to be sown, it shall be clean. Verse 38, but if any water be put upon the seed, and any part of their carcass fall thereon, it shall be unclean unto you. 39, and if any beast of which ye may eat die, he that toucheth the carcass thereof shall be unclean until the even. Verse 40, he that eateth of the carcass of it, shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the even. He also that beareth the carcass of it shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the even. 41, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth shall be an abomination, and shall not be eaten. 42, whatsoever goeth upon the belly, and whatsoever goeth upon all four, or whatsoever hath more feet among all creeping things that creep upon the earth, them ye shall not eat, for they are an abomination. Okay? Verse 43, and it says, ye shall not make yourselves abominable with any creeping thing that creepeth, neither shall ye make yourselves unclean with them, that ye should be defiled thereby. Okay? So that right there was the Levitical law on, beasts, foul, and clean and unclean. Okay? Now, for those of you that still think that the law is done away with, and that this doesn't apply to you in these times, I'm going to get, let me get the book of Hebrews. This is going to be the book of Hebrews. The Hebrews, the 13th chapter. It's going to be Hebrews 13, verse 8. And it says, Yahushua HaMashiach the same yesterday and today and forever. Okay, so pursuant to the book of Malachi, the 3rd chapter, the 6th verse, it tells you, I'm gonna get it here in a second, but going down to verse 9, it says, be not carried about with diverse and strange doctrines, for it is good that for it is a good thing that the heart be established with grace. And that grace is talking about the holy influence of the Lord in his word, and not with meats going into the worldly philosophies, the philosophies of men, which have not profited them that have been occupied therein. These worldly philosophies do you no good. They're pointless, vain. Okay, now I'm going to get that scripture in the see, this is going to be the book of Malachi. It's going to be the book of Malachi. Let me get there. Malachi chapter 3, verse 6. And it says, for I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. So Yahweh Shemashai does not change. Okay? He is not a man that he should, he is not a man that he should lie. Okay? Now I'm going to get, alright, I'm going to go back to, this is going to be, I'm going to go back to the book of Hebrews. It's going to be Hebrews chapter 10. Hebrews 10 and 9. And it says, then said he, lo, I come to do the will of the Most High. He taketh away the first, that he may establish the second. He's talking about the first covenant, that he may establish the second one. Verse 10, by the which will we are sanctified through the offering of the body of Yahushua HaMashiach once for all. Verse 11, and every priest standeth daily ministering and offering oftentimes the same sacrifices which can never take away sins. Verse 12. But this man, after he had offered one sacrifice for sins forever, sat down on the right hand of Yahweh. Okay? So Yahweh Shai was the ultimate sacrifice for the nation of Israel, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. He did this for you. For you. Okay? So, Yahweh Shai, it doesn't matter, like I said back in verse 11, every priest standeth daily ministering and offering oftentimes the same sacrifice which can never take away sins. Yahweh Shai was the ultimate sacrifice. Okay? The only thing of the law that was done away with was animal sacrifice. So Yahweh sent his only begotten Son to be that ultimate sacrifice, which we're going to get in the book of 1 Peter, chapter 1, verse 19. It says, but with the precious blood of Hamashiach, as of a lamb without blemish and without spot, meaning he was blameless, pure. Verse 20, who verily was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but was manifest in these last times for you. Verse 21, who by him do believe in the Most High, that raised him up from the dead and gave him glory, that your faith and hope might be in Yahweh. Okay? So Yahweh Shai was that lamb without spot or blemish, meaning he was blameless, he was pure, and he kept the law perfectly in that time. Okay? He was the ultimate sacrifice for Israel. Okay? And I'll finish off with this last script here. This one here is really going to drive the point home to let you so-called Christians out there, or any of these other worldly religions who think that the law is done away with. This is Matthew 5 and 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Verse 18, for verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, which they haven't passed, heaven and earth are still here, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Okay? So the law is still here. Okay? The law is still here. Obey. 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall call great in the kingdom of heaven. Okay? So, if you break any of these commandments, break the law in any way, shape, or form, and you teach them to do so, you will be the least in the kingdom. But if you keep the law and teach them rightly, then you'll be called great in the kingdom. All right. Now let's see. I think it's 1 John chapter 3 verse 4. Yep, here we are. Call hello Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And it says, 1 John chapter 3 verse 4, and it says, whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. In verse 5, and it says, and ye know that he was manifested to take away our sins, and in him is no sin. So there you go. The law still stands. And, and sin is the transgression of the law. So we have to obey. There are no excuses. Okay? So, I hope that this was an edifying lesson. Let me see if I can get one more script here. This is going to be Psalms 40 and 7. And it says, then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me. Okay? And who comes in the volume of the book, and who is it written of? It's written of Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is the law of life. Okay? So, once again, the law has not been done away with. The law is still here. And for you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, and the speckled bird that's scattered abroad, you still have to obey. You are under the law. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai established the covenant with Israel and no one else. Okay? Now I hope that this lesson was edifying unto the body, and to those that are new coming in, listening and learning with all sincerity. I'd like to give all the honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Ba'ath Dawadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. See you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharallah, Wa Abba Abba, Shalom, Barakatah.